All right. Well, what else are we talking about?
Well, Demon in the chat room.
Yes.
Sent over a little quick article here that very kind of interesting in some regard.
Okay.
Since we were talking to Tony Harnell earlier tonight.
Sure.
He brought up the fact that Stryper has put out a really good record.
Yeah, it is good.
Well, apparently Walmart doesn't want to carry it.
Yes, so I've heard. I'll be asking Michael Sweet about that on Monday.
Mm-hmm. So, expressing concerns over the album's title, leading national retail chain Walmart has refused to carry Stryper's 10th studio album, Goddamn Evil.
Ooh. Very, very filthy.
Yeah. Several Christian retail chains have also objected to the title, and they have declined to carry Goddamn Evil in their store.
Wow. That's got to affect what? 8 to 10 sales?
Probably.
I mean, come on. Who goes to Walmart to buy music? And B, who's buying Stryper records? Not that I don't think the record's really good. It is, but who's buying that?
Yeah. Are you buying a record, an actual record?
If I was, it wouldn't be from Walmart.
Yeah.
No way.
So apparently Walmart is like, we don't like the record.
Right.
Or the record title, rather.
Well, don't you think, and I'm going to ask this question, but don't you think that they knew that was coming? Or do you think we're just clueless?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough to say, to be honest with you.
I just have to think that, Walmart has long been the worst when it comes to that kind of shit. What did they think, that they could get away with using quote unquote profanity because they're a Christian band? I mean, I know no one gives a shit about goddamn anymore. I know that's not like the old days where that was like really bad.
Yeah. That was the GD word.
The GD word, yeah. And I mean that was on par at one point not that long ago with fuck. And it was worse than shit, wasn't it?
Yeah, don't take the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah. I mean, it was considered worse than saying shit. It was don't say the GD word, the GD word. But I mean, they're just not. Walmart's not going to do it. Walmart's not going to. They have that long history of editing records and not having anything with profanity of any level in their stores. So why are they shocked? I guess. And I keep seeing the quotes from Michael Sweet about, we're very disappointed and this and that. Why? How did he not know that was coming? You think he just forgot?
Yeah, I don't know.
I am going to ask him. I'm definitely that's the whole reason I reached out to the Stryper camp to get the interview, was because I wanted to ask that question of, did you just think that they would overlook it because you're a Christian band?
Well, maybe they thought that it was being used in a religious context.
Yeah, or it's that whole double entendre thing. It's that whole, you could be saying goddamn evil, like, goddamn evil. Or you could be saying, God needs to damn evil.
Correct.
It's that whole double entendre thing, and I think maybe they were trying to be a little too cute, and I gotta imagine Frontiers is not real thrilled. The band, I'm sure they don't give two shits. They'll be able to fucking sell their records at gigs or whatever. But I'd imagine Frontiers is not real fucking thrilled with them right about now. Although they put it up too, so it's on them too, don't you think?
Yeah.
They could have rejected that title.
That is absolutely true.
So, I don't know, but we'll get to the bottom of that shit.
Right. Anyway, frontman Michael Sweet says, we're
disappointed!
Ooh. Stryper has always been about making people think outside the box. Our new album title, Goddamn Evil, is a statement that's needed in our society.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen evil rise to new levels, and this title is simply a prayer request asking God to damn or to condemn all the evil around us.
Uh-huh.
Many chains have joined us in making such a statement. Walmart, unfortunately, has not.
Mm-hmm.
The odd thing is, of all the chains out there, we assumed Walmart would be one to understand exactly what our point and purpose is.
Right.
Unfortunately, not. Although we respect their decision and what's done is done, it's frustrating to see something that's meant for good to get misrepresented and misunderstood.
Right. Well, it's not shocking in today's world. That's for sure. That political correctness would step in. But it is kind of interesting that political correctness would step in on that, isn't it? You know, you would think the liberals wouldn't give. That's like a conservative issue, don't you think?
You would think.
But well, should be an interesting call with Mr. Sweet on Monday.
No, you could find out what's on his mind.
Oh, I'm definitely going to. I have interview after interview after. I have 4 interviews on Monday.
Just on Monday alone, huh?
Just on Monday, yeah. Guess that's what I'll be doing Monday. Interviews. 4 interviews plus a conference call. I'm never going to be off the phone. But some are good. I'm interviewing. I just got the confirmation while we were doing the show. I'm interviewing Blitz from Overkill. That'll be fun. About their live record. Fun.
It's always interesting that these bands continue putting out live records.
Yeah, I don't understand that. With YouTube out there, why would they still put out live records when you just watch, you can watch tonight's performance today. You can go to YouTube, and wherever Overkill was tonight, you can probably see it. It is interesting that they still do, but they're gonna whatever. I'm not one to complain, especially with Overkill that puts out a new record every year. If they want to fill up with a live record and delay 6 months, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Productive as they are.
Well, speaking of live records,
all right.
Yesterday the long-awaited Dokken Return to the East, DVD, CD, limited edition with a T-shirt, that all was available yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, I was reading the online review or a review of this.
Okay.
And this reviewer he either listened to the show or he just had the exact same reaction to it as that we did.
Okay.
I'm just going to read this reviewer's review of the CD. This was done by a guy by the name of Clay Marshall.
Okay.
And this is basically what he had to say about it. At some point in every successful artist's career, past accomplishments become more compelling than the future projects, which, everybody wants the old stuff. And bands who were very big, and we talked to Tony Harnell about this.
Sure.
In the 80s, in their heyday, when fans go to the shows, they just want to hear the greatest hits.
Right.
They're not talking about the new record.
Right.
Very few of them are. Only the hardcores do that.
Sure.
Having a string of hits, therefore, can be something of a double-edged sword for the shadow cast by those hits, not to mention nostalgia for the lineup of musicians who recorded them, tends to grow over time, often in inverse proportions to the relevance of the act's new material. I think that's what Tony was saying, that the songs become bigger,
right,
than the artist, or however you phrase that.
Right, sure.
Lately, however, some bands have tried to have their cake and eat it too. Arch Enemy has successfully transitioned into Mark III, but the group has also played a handful of Black Earth shows with the original vocalist, Joanne, is it Leva?
I don't know. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, to commemorate its early years. Similarly, Fate's Warning turned back the clock for some recent festival dates with the lineup that recorded Awaken the Guardian temporarily reunited to perform the album, after which the group's current incarnation resumed touring. Foreigner and Alice Cooper have also occasionally welcomed back former members for live shows without fully playing a reunion.
Right.
Then there's Dokken, who attempted to forge something of a dual career path in recent months as well. One featured the group's classic lineup, that being Don Dokken, George Lynch, Jeff Pilson, and Mick Brown, who reunited for a string of shows in 2016. And if Lynch and Pilson have their way, they'll do it again next year. And another of the group's current lineup of Don Dokken, Mick Brown, longtime guitarist John Levin, and more recently Chris McCarville. While Dokken has vowed to carry on with the latter incarnation, the new live album DVD Blu-ray Return to the East Live 2016, recorded during the reunion shows in South Dakota and Japan, will only make a shadow of the former that is much harder to shake. Even Dokken himself seems to acknowledge the crossroads in the lyrics. It's just another day. The new studio track by the group's classic lineup that is included here. Where do we go from here? He croons at one point in the mid-tempo song, which features a bouncy riff, chunky bass lines, and meaty groove.
Right.
You better take some notes, Chris.
Meaty groove?
Meaty groove.
Okay.
Exuding more of the 90s vibe than you'd expect, the track feels somewhat restrained, at least until the extended solo, which gives Lynch a chance to show off. Also included are the two primary acoustic reworkings of the tracks of the group's glory days. The lush Heaven Sent falls somewhere between Desert Nori, is it N-O-I-R? Noir. Yeah. And a spaghetti western, but its walls of harmonies extend guitar solos, provide added heft.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
Take it easy on the verbiage, dude.
Exactly.
Just say that it's blah.
Yeah.
That's all he's saying. He's using a lot of words to say. That's pretty boring.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Will the Sunrise feels a little campfire jam.
All right.
Albeit one in which Lynch refuses to mellow out by unplugging.
Okay.
He refuses.
Yeah.
That brings us to the hour-long concert portion of Return to the East. In its review of Machine Head's divisive Catharsis, Decibel magazine famously abandoned its normal 0 to 10 rating scale in favor of the shrug emoticon.
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah.
It's tempting to follow suit and award Dokken a question mark, as the live footage here is clearly anything but. Granted, very few live albums are 100% authentic, but while Return to the East, the audio portion of which was produced by Pilson, sounds like $1 million, has unquestionably benefited from numerous nips and tucks.
Right.
The sweetened crowd noise, which I complained about.
Right.
Because, like I said, it sounds like a roar. Just this constant roar with
600,000 people at that show.
Yeah, just playing underneath the music. It just didn't do anybody any favors.
Sure.
The sweetened crowd noise and overdub vocals aren't the main problems, though. The majority of the video is actually not from Japan, but from the South Dakota show. Mm-hmm. Return to the Great Plains must not have a great ring to it. And often songs feature footage Frankenstein together from multiple performances, which is what I said. They would show like the South Dakota show, and then they would pan the audience and it'd be all Asians.
Nice.
Case in point, DVD Blu-ray opener Tooth and Nail hilariously sees Dawn take the stage at the Badlands venue in Sioux Falls and greet the audience, only to cut to a crowd shot of cheering Japanese fans. Which is what I noticed immediately.
Right.
Later, during Kiss of Death, Dokken walks toward Lynch, only to magically reappear at the center of the stage in the next shot before he's right back alongside Lynch in the other. Let's see. He magically reappears at center stage in the next shot before he's right back alongside Lynch in the one after.
Nice.
There are also numerous awkward angles and bizarre effects, things like mosaic cuts, mirroring, and in Unchained the Night, blurry footage of Brown that seems like someone is having too much fun with the Apple's photo booth feature. In short, Mystery Science Theater 3000 would have a field day with this.
Wow.
That said, if you're looking for a genuine document of historical music moment, Return to the East isn't it.
Oh, wow.
As a killer soundtrack to a tour program with moving pictures, though, it hits the mark. Yes, some of the material, most noticeably Dream Warriors, is tuned down significantly, and yes, Don's voice isn't what it was once. Boy, I'm having a tough time tonight. Isn't what it once was, but it's not entirely fair to fault vocalists whose ranges change as they age. After all, aside from Glenn Hughes, which rock singers have the same power 3 decades later? A more pointed criticism is to call Dokken out for his dourish expression, which borders on an outright scowl at times, especially in Paris is Burning, where he's clearly unhappy with his vocal monitor. Surprise, surprise.
Wow, sound problems. Amazing.
And he provides a sharp contrast to Pilsen, who's energetic from the opening bell and completely drenched by the show, closing with In My Dreams. It remains to be seen whether Return to the East, which also includes 45 minutes of interviews, rehearsal clips, and other behind-the-scenes footage not screened for review, is a snapshot of the moment in time or a harbinger of things to come. Either way, perhaps its most commendable quality is the spotlight it reshines on an underrated 80s anthems like Breaking the Chains and Into the Fire. But to be honest, those songs never really benefited from the video. They never boy, I'm telling you, they never benefited from the video accompaniments in the first place. So it's just like,
He basically said it's shit.
Yeah.
It's about what he said. He said the video part of it, shit. Said it's listenable, but not really watchable.
Yeah. Well, I talked to Chris McCarville last night, and I asked, I said, you edited this thing, didn't you? And he said, yeah, I did. And I said, he goes, sounds good. And I said, yeah, I guess. And I said, boy, I said that, I got to be honest with you. I said, not that this is anything to do with you and your abilities, but man, that was a tough watch. He said, well, I could only do so much with the footage I was given.
Mm-hmm. He had a can of turtle wax and a bag of shit.
Yeah.
Here, let me polish this thing up all nice.
Yeah. He said, I didn't have a lot to work with.
Yeah.
And he said the problem was that, some of the audio that I had received or had to work with, the audio was from South Dakota because apparently they did a good job with the recording of the audio.
Right.
And they did a better job of the video in Japan. So trying to blend the audio from South Dakota with the actual video footage from Japan just wasn't working too well.
Well, here's my question, and you may or may not know the answer to this, but was part of the arrangement for playing the gig that they had to put out a DVD?
I think they signed a deal with Frontiers
To put a DVD?
Yeah, to put out a DVD since they were doing this reunion tour, but I don't know if one had anything to do with the other.
Because it really sounds like what they should have done is just released the audio and maybe like 1 or 2 videos, like one video of one song that they could have piecemealed together, and the single, Just Another Day, or the acoustic. They could have skipped the fucking video of that they didn't have anything with and just gone with the acoustic songs as the videos. But it just doesn't make sense that they would release this bag of shit.
Yeah. Well, I think it just came together way too quickly. I don't think there was really enough planning involved.
Right.
And again, before they even, officially announced this, Don came on the show and made the official announcement, and it was in the works, but nothing was set in stone until they signed the contracts.
Right.
And they didn't sign the contracts until, maybe weeks or even a couple of months before they did their first rehearsals in South Dakota.
Right.
And then even then, I don't think there was enough preparation to really put everything in place, because I don't know when they made arrangements to video and record this thing.
Right.
Because I think what happened is I think that they got an offer from the Japanese promoter to do a live thing.
Right.
And then they parlayed that into, well, if we're going to do this live thing, why don't we videotape it and record it, and we'll put out a live DVD video thing. And I think, obviously Frontiers was the one who jumped on that.
Sure.
And again, I just think everything was just too rushed. And it was just like, okay, well, we got 10 days to get this done.
Right.
And you got what you got.
Yeah, well, I know what I got. A deleted file off of my hard drive.
So it was just like, And even last night, when I brought it up, I said, well, today was the day that your video was released. It goes, yeah, that's what I heard.
Didn't give a fuck.
Nope. And Don was telling me that, people he knows was like, can I buy this directly from you? And he's like, I don't have anything to do with this. I got my money.
Yeah, I'm paid. I don't care.
Yeah. He goes, well, yeah, can I just PayPal you or something? And it's like, no, dude, I'm not selling this. This isn't something I'm dealing with. I sold it to Frontiers.
Yeah, you can PayPal Frontiers.
Yeah, or you can just buy it on Amazon.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. He said he just got barraged with people asking him if they can buy it from him. It's like, I'm not distributing this. This isn't my deal.
Yeah, but fans are dumb.
They
don't get that. They see his name on it, and it's like, well, he must have a trunk full of them.
Yeah.
Carries them around everywhere he goes.
Yeah, I just peddle them.
Yeah. Let me open up the trunk of the car here. Sell you one right out the trunk.
Exactly. I don't know. It's bizarre.
It's funny.
People are bizarre.
Yep.
So I don't know. I said it a few weeks ago. I'll say it again. Just very underwhelming.
Yeah, I'm done. I'll probably never listen to it now one more time. I listened through it all the way through and was like, yep, sounds like Dokken. Sounds no better, no worse than the other band. Honestly, it doesn't sound any better to me. Doesn't sound any better or any worse than the McCarville, Levin, Don and Mick.
Nope.
No better, no worse, no different.
Mm-mm.
People can say, "Oh, Lynch sounds fucking average." I don't care what anybody says. He sounds average on this thing.
Yeah, so nothing standing out on this at all.
I know. I keep seeing all these comments. Oh, Lynch is back with the fucking no. Where? What are you hearing that I'm not? Because he sounds like every other fucking record he's ever done, and a less version. You listen to Beast from the East. That's when George Lynch live on Beast from the East or in the studio or wherever the fuck he recorded it, sounds fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like George Lynch at every gig that I've ever seen of George Lynch.
Right.
Just
playing
playing
Dokken songs with Lynch Mob.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing new there.
Mm-hmm.
Which just kind of goes back to some of the YouTube comments that I read this week, where we the segment that we called Steven Adler is heartbroken.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people were just like, yeah, fuck Steven, and all that thing. It's like, that would have made a difference. No way. And then there was like the few people who said, you fucking guys don't know anything.
Dicks.
That reunion would have been so much bigger if Steven were part of it.
Would it?
Yeah. They did $400 million and, gross $400 million. Do you think that they would have grossed $500 million if Steven was part of the lineup?
Where would they have played? They sold out damn near every show.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
You know,
It's like, you guys are just two dummies from some small town.
I liked that guy. Yeah, we're two small town dummies.
Yeah, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Adler adds so much to that.
Does he? Does he really? Then how come he draws like 100 people when he's not in the band?
Right.
When he's just out playing those same songs. Shut up. Most people don't give two fucks about Steven Adler. They really don't.
Yeah. But
he's got that swing, man. He's got that... Shut up. That swing. Shut up.
Well, speaking of sound issues...
Yes.
Not a one last night.
Oh, really?
Not a one.
Wow.
Prior to going on stage, Don stood there with the sound guy.
Okay.
Programmed the board.
All right.
Went out there. Not one issue.
Well, that's nice. Maybe Don should pay himself some extra and do that every show.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I stood there with him, and I was watching him get set up and tuned in and everything.
Right.
And that was my nephew was there with me last night, and he goes, "Hey, there wasn't one sound issue tonight. Not a one."
That's good.
So, just goes to show you that if you get that board set and just do what you're asked, there's probably wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
I know what I'm doing. I've been mixing sound forever. Don't tell me, Don, what you need, because I'll tell you what you need.
Yeah, man.
Pal. All right, well, let's play a couple of songs, and we'll come back and do a few more things.
All right, sounds good.
We are quickly going through this evening. We only got an hour and a half left.
Wow, that's fast.
It's been fast tonight.
Yep.
All right. You got anything you'd like to hear in particular?
Give me some Venom and James. You got that?
Venom and James?
Yeah.
Where's that at?
They're from here.
Oh, I don't have that.
All right. You got Spawn over there, right?
Yes.
From round 2, give me Removed.
Okay. All right. Well, here's a Cleveland band, or what was a Cleveland band.
Right.
And called Spawn.
Yeah.
No longer in existence.
Nope.
But they were one of Chris's favorites. They did well in Cleveland for the few years that they were around, and now they're just a memory.
Yep. Now they're old music that we play on the show.
Exactly. All right. Well, this one comes from Spawn round 2, and this one is called Removed, exclusively here
on your classic metal show.